Hello, everybody. Nerd in Texoma. I'm trying out a different filming location, slightly different. Uh, some of y'all may recognize this from before, but it's been a while. I apologize about last week. We were in the middle of expecting some pretty gnarly storms, which are unfortunately again supposedly on their way into Texas. You might hear some of the siding clanking around outside of my house with the high winds today. And I was also dealing with some extreme pain in my stump because of the change in weather. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. It's usually more accurate than the weatherman on predicting what's going to happen. So I apologize about that. Sorry, guys and girls and everybody else who might be watching. Life happens, life gets in the way sometimes, and we just got to roll with the punches. uh, but I am back today, and I will be talking about and reviewing, well, yeah, I guess it would be a review, a DVD that I've had for a while because it is a film that I found many years ago that is or was available on YouTube. I believe it's still out there on YouTube, so y'all can watch it free. You don't have to necessarily track down the DVD and find it that way. If you do, I do recommend it, but I will tell you this, there are some pretty major changes between the DVD and the video on YouTube. What I am talking about today is I guess you could say a fan film. It's also a spoof. It's a pretty, very nicely done movie. That, I mean, from what I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, it took 6 years to complete this one movie. Most of it was done on green screen, and they did have, some actual locations that they filmed at and stuff like that. But I mean, wow. For, yeah, I'm going to say a shoestring budget. It's definitely not the shoestring budget that I'm used to working with, with the fan films I've been a part of. This had a bigger budget than that, definitely, but not a huge budget. From what I understand, this guy he actually did most of this in his apartment, to be a matter of fact. Uh, like I say, this was a fan film that came out many years ago, long before all of the fan film guidelines and all of that stuff. I will mention one thing too. You must be either fluent in Finnish or okay with reading subtitles on the film. Because this guy is from Finland, so naturally everybody is speaking in Finnish. There are subtitles included in English, both on the YouTube video and the DVD. Yeah, according to the DVD, that's the only subtitles available. There might be more on YouTube, I'm not sure. They obviously are a bigger company, so they can use Google Translate to get every possible language out there, pretty much. So, the movie that I am talking about today is called Star Wreck. Now, if you look it up on YouTube, you can find it, like I said, last time I checked, as Star Wreck. The original file and video is Star Wreck in the Pirkinning. Pirkinning. Like beginning, but perk. Pirk. And the reason for that is the main character there, try and get out of the reflection, that's Captain James B. Or, don't know which way it's going to go on video there. B. Perk. Basically, this is the feature-length version of a fan film series this guy's been doing for years. And most of his other ones were just using clips based out of old Star Trek computer games that he'd do the voiceover and his friends and all that. Excuse me, I need to get a drink. Sorry about that, folks. Dry throat, you know how that goes. Much better. Okay. Back to what I was talking about. He had a bunch of different misadventures and stuff that he'd make the fan films out of like that. And in this one, what happens is he's a, what do they call it? I forget what they call the group, but it's like the Federation. But, I mean, this guy is like a total narcissist and everything. Somehow he and his crew end up trapped in the past, in the 21st century, basically. And what he does is he hustles and makes some questionable business decisions with dictators to fund a fleet, a space fleet again. And he hopes to get back to his own time. So they start building all these different ships so he can get back home to the future. This is where the main difference between the DVD release and the YouTube release is. On YouTube, all of the ships are actual Star Trek design. You have Sovereign class ships, you have Constitution refit ships, you have, I believe there's Ambassador class in there. I think there was a couple of Intrepid class. I mean, there's all immediately recognizable Starfleet ships. Granted, they don't have Starfleet markings or anything like that, because this is a parody fan film. Well, from what I understand, it wasn't released on DVD here until after all of the fan film guidelines came out from Paramount. So, to keep from running against what the fan film guidelines set forth, they went back and re-edited all of the ships to be different. They're still recognizable as a potential Starfleet ship, but it's more a steampunk style, as I describe it. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the proper term for it would be, but to me it's like a steampunk meets Star Trek type of style for the ship. Now, one thing that they did not do, interesting little note here, is like when you watch the video, if you watch the video on YouTube and then the DVD version, and I think they re-uploaded the DVD version to YouTube so you can watch both of them easily, or at least last time I checked they were both up. On the exterior images of the ships, the DVD version, they're all that steampunk style, but on the monitors on the inside of the ship, on the bridge, it still shows the outline of the original Star Trek ship. So if you have, difficulties figuring out what ship is supposed to be what, wait for a little bridge scene and it'll show the outline of what it's supposed to be. Basically, I mean, it's really well made, really funny, in my opinion. We have not every Star Trek character, but we have quite a few represented. There's a Worf character that I am forgetting his name at the moment. The funniest, I think, is the Data character, who is now named Info. Instead of being a pale gold, he's like a pale silver color. Next thing is, this is also, as far as I can tell, I may be wrong, correct me if I am, let me know below. This is also the first Babylon 5 fan film, spoof, so on and so forth. Because when Kirk gets his space fleet built, and he activates the time circuits or whatever it is, I can't remember what happens, a wormhole, I think. He accidentally doesn't go into the future of his reality. He kind of goes into the future of an alternate universe where Babylon 5 actually happened. So you've got Star Trek versus Babylon 5. Like I say, in my opinion, if you can find the original on YouTube, watch that, because I mean, it's so cool to watch, the Babylon 5 fighters and everything go up against Starfleet ships. That is so cool. The DVD version, I mean, it's still cool to see a big old space fight, but it's just not that Star Trek versus Babylon 5, mixing of the two different series. Now, I'm not knocking on Babylon 5, I'm not knocking on Star Trek. It's always fun to see that kind of what if type of thing. So then, there's all the battles, all the hilarity that's going on. I remember one of the spoof Babylon 5 characters' name was Gary Baldy, like Baldy, instead of Garibaldi, the security chief on the ship, station. Blah. I'm so used to saying ship. But Garibaldi, but it's Gary Baldy. That's one of the names that sticks out to me from the Babylon 5 aspect of it. On the Star Trek side, like I say, you've got Info, who is supposed to be Data. You have a character who is, I'm guessing, supposed to be loosely based on Chekhov, named Fukov. I'll let y'all figure that one out. I mean, that's should be obvious. But he's kind of the stoner, I guess, of the group. They don't fire phasers or torpedoes. They have light balls and twinklers. Yeah. And sometimes some of the crew mistakes the word light balls for light beers. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, this is a off-the-wall parody fan film. One of my favorites. You know, like I said, I found it on YouTube years ago when I actually found out that it was on DVD, and actually a wide release DVD. They did have a DVD come out years and years and years ago for the actual backers of the project. You know, so it was an original pressing, so it had the original ship designs and everything like that, but that is extremely hard to find. This one I did find on eBay, like I say, a while back. I can't remember exactly how long, but you can just Google Star Wreck on eBay. I think I paid about like $5, maybe 10 after shipping or something for this copy. So, I mean, you can find it relatively inexpensively if you want to get the DVD. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, as long as you're good with subtitles on a movie, you know, there's a lot of humor in this. It's pretty dang funny. It's, let's see, 105 minutes, so it's not too long. And the other interesting bit about this is the director of Star Wreck here. This was actually his first feature-length film, and since then he's gone on to direct. Now, some of y'all may know this film, some of y'all may not, but if you do or don't, look it up. Google it. He went on to direct Iron Sky and Iron Sky: The Coming Race. Is Coming Race second? Yeah, I think it was. It's been a while since I've seen those. Now, what Iron Sky is about, it's another sci-fi spoof comedy movie where in the past there were the reports that, you know, in real life that Hitler and his group were trying to create spaceships. Well, in Iron Sky, they succeeded, and they colonized the moon. So a bunch of Hitler's group lived on the moon. And we didn't know about that. Humanity on Earth didn't know about that until, I believe that movie takes place in the year 2022 or 23 maybe, so right about now, when President Palin, yes, Sarah Palin, won the presidency in the movie, decides that she wants to run a nice PR stunt and send humanity back to the moon. So when the astronauts land on the moon, they discover this group of Hitler's followers that have made a whole society on the moon, and they come back to Earth to try to take over Earth. Ultimately, they're defeated. But later on, in the second movie, Now, I've only seen the second movie like once or twice, so forgive me if I'm getting some of it wrong here. But basically, in the second movie, we find out that some of Hitler's group and Hitler himself found out that the Earth is hollow. And his group goes into the center of the hollow Earth and finds dinosaurs there, and again tries to take over the world, and is whooped, but not before they get off a message to their group of followers on Mars, setting it up for a third movie. Now, as far as I know, the third movie has not come out yet. I'm not sure if it will. If it does, I am all for it. I am ready to watch it. I will say this much. The original Iron Sky, good, funny movie. The second one kind of fell flat in some places. Anyhow, in my opinion, check out Star Wreck if you have the chance. Like I say, in my opinion, it belongs in any Star Trek collection or collection of, even the Star Trek fan films that have been out there, like this one that is available for download on their website. I'm not saying names. Y'all can read. Y'all see exactly who I'm talking about. But, yeah, definitely have fun. Watch fan films. Watch independent films. Sometimes you find gems, sometimes you find stinkers. But you'll never know if you don't watch them. Alright, Nerd and Texoma. Talk to y'all later. Bye.